Good morning, everyone. It turns out humans are emotional and social creatures. And to get usually what we want out of life, we have to communicate with other people and create win win scenarios. What's the best way to do this? I believe it's through communication and in the online space, Zoom calls all the time, and making it harder and harder to get it in front of people physically. I wanted to go over these 11 communication skills so we can help sharpen our skills to help create the most opportunities possible. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's get right to the show. It's going to be a good one. Cheers, friends. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Terra Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and I actually forgot. Tips, tricks, ideas to help you become the absolute best version of yourself. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on that. I've said this like 500 times. Well, it turns out we're all human, right? So either way, we're getting into communication today. I'm really excited. It's going to be a fun one. I know communication is something that, let me highlight over here, just creating a banner this morning. How's everyone doing this morning? Communication, being able to communicate with people effectively, I think can be the difference between landing deals and not. I know when I used to be a real estate agent in Chicago, there was, man, I got to really view my mentor. Whether people liked it or not, they would learn to know realtors. They would know what negotiation tactics they would be doing. They would know their approach, and people would be like, hey, this person's represented well. I think this is going to be a really strong offer moving forward with it, especially on these big deals when they don't want to risk them falling out. So I think communication can be really valuable, and it's just served. It's an ever-going process, right? I want to continue to improve as I go along. There's, I'm sure, a number of things, whether you've watched my videos or not, there's probably a long list of I could improve on, and vice versa. Whether in your personal life, your professional life, you're trying to reconnect with your family, or you're trying to get that next big job, I think communication is going to come in handy dandy along the way. So these are going to be some general principles, I think. And as we go along in the show and we go through all 11 tips this morning, let's try and just pick one or two. I think part of the exercise at the end, we're just going to pick a couple. So there'll be 3 segments to the show this morning. We're going to have our 11 tips. We're going to have the benefits, because we want to always know what the benefits are, Tanner. Why am I going to be doing something like this? Understanding our benefits. And additionally, our pick 2 exercise, because usually when we focus on, our top picks, 2, we want to do 2 of them. I'm going to pick 2 that I'm trying to work on the most, and then you can go ahead and you can pick the 2 that you want to work on the most, but we're going to have 11 of them overall. All right. We got a lot to talk about this morning and not a whole lot of time, so we might as well get going with it. All right. So the 11 tips for improving communication. The first one on the list is funny. When you think of communication, you tend to think of talking, but the first one on our list, and I think could be probably the most important, is active listening. Active listening. This is when you're really listening. You're listening to all facets of communication. We know communication goes beyond just the words that I'm literally saying out of my mouth. It can be my body language. It can be my tone. So active listening is really understanding the depth, reading their tone, trying to understand their words and their body language, so you can really try to understand someone at a deeper level and go off of and communicate off of this understanding. So often in the past, I would get charged up about a topic, or whether it's politics or even the weather or something dumb, and someone would say something, and I'm like not even listening to them. I'm just trying to think of something clever to say back. That is very shallow listening, and these are things that cause a lot of arguments. Arguments are usually based off of us not even talking about the same thing. So first off is us really trying to listen to the other person, encompassing all language. I know in Zoom calls in today's online world, this can be very difficult. However, we really want to just try to do our best to read the tone, really listen to the person, really engage. And please don't be looking at your smartphones when somebody's trying to talk. This is absolute atrocity and devastating to communication. No one, what you're telling them is you're not important right now. This is more important. So be careful with the smartphone. I get it if you're working, if you're on shift and you got to do stuff, yada, yada. But just understand that's how people usually interpret it. All right, awesome. First one comes to active listening. Active listening. The next one comes up is body language awareness. Next one on our list. Yep, we wanted that one. So body language. Body language. Okay. So just how are you moving your body when you're communicating? Are you flailing your arms all around all the time and like jumping up and down and being a total crazy man? Or are you being more calm, composed, but maybe when you're giving a public speech and you're rewatching some of your videos, like I rewatch a lot of these videos and stuff, and I try to think, okay, how can I kind of position my body a little bit better? How can I include my hand movement? How can I kind of adjust myself to as I'm trying to present what's on the board or these types of things. So I think just body language, body movement says a lot. And when it comes to communication, when you can read the other person's body language, I think it just makes it a whole lot easier to understand their needs and their wants. And when you can supply people their needs and their wants, deals tend to get done. So the second one to look out for, as we want to know, is just body language for ourselves, and also trying to read and interpret the other person's body language. Awesome. All right. Number 3 on our list, rolling through, is just clarity. Clarity. The old T-Dog, I used to try and come up with fancy words to try and sound smart to other people. And it turns out the simpler approach is usually best when it comes to communication. Just tell me what you're actually saying. I know everyone wants to feel smart and they want to feel like, oh, I can use big boy words and I score big points on when I play Scrabble. But really, just being clear and concise I've been seeing a lot more results. I used to try to say all these fancy things about my career and what I do. I do this and I do that and I do that and I do this. And I was just confusing people more than anything. So something I'm really trying to apply is just simpler, very clear, very concise, things that it can understand. So for example, say you are a car salesman or you work in the car business, something that, and you know a lot about cars. And then you start going into details and saying this and saying that, and a lot of the deep language of the business. The consumer is paying you to make this easy and simple. You're telling me all this stuff about cars. I don't even know what this is. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm confused, and a confused mind in sales always says no. A confused mind always says no. So that's why we came up with clarity. And that's something I'm really trying to do in my business, is really trying to boil down just the simple things that I am doing, that I can tell people in a clear, concise way to make it easier. Awesome. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for tuning into the show this morning. Rolling right along. Okay. We're on to number 4. So we are rocking and rolling this morning. Number 4 is empathy. Having some empathy for other people is good. We want to be a little more empathetic. I want you to think of your worst day of your life. The worst day of your life. You felt like crap. You maybe had a family member die. Something just absolutely terrible. And when you run into somebody and they're like, oh, well, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with that person? And you're like, what the hell's wrong with you? Did that make you feel better or worse? Probably worse. So I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, because life's too short to be pissed off and frustrated anyway with other people. So I just give them the empathy that they need. I'm not saying hire somebody and let them do whatever they want. What I'm saying is when you run into strangers, you're communicating, you're meeting new people. We just don't know what type of day they're having, what's going on. there's this harsh story. I've probably told this on the show before, but I met this guy and I had heard so many good things about him. And he ended up turning out like not really caring and being flat, being very, very short with me. And I was kind of like, what the hell's going on with this asshole? And then turned out his kid was really sick. He was going through some surgeries and stuff like that. And my point being is you just don't know what somebody's going through. I personally am trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, so I give them more empathy. Sometimes we have bad days. And so when we are more empathetic to different people's situations, because there's no real way to know how people feel. So, and that's why understanding the other things like being clear, understanding body language, and like really listening to people, I think can make empathy that much easier, that much easier. So maybe today we want to have a little more empathy for someone along the way. Okay. All right. On to the next one. Number 5, assertive. Assertive. Okay. So I want to be a little more assertive with what I'm trying to do in my approach. So for example, I'm trying to get more clients for my business, for my company. So I want to be a little more assertive and a little more aggressive with doing this. I've seen this happen in real estate a lot, where in the past, when I was first starting out as a realtor, I was just too scared to ask for something, like to get the closing costs paid for, or to get a one of my partners, he's just really good with this stuff, getting all these sides, nookie, like they call them contingencies, these little things to the deal that really sweeten it towards you. I'll give you a price if you give me my terms. And just being a little more assertive with it. I'm not saying don't kill a deal and don't create a win-win situation, but not being so scared to do that. So if there's something that you believe can benefit you both and you just don't want to offend the other party, just don't be scared to be assertive. This is something that's bit me in the butt, so it made the list when I was doing my research. But I just want to be a little more assertive when I'm asking people. Be straightforward. Don't be scared to ask someone. I went through my old text messages yesterday, started from the bottom, and I just was going through. And this one person, Mr. Hendrickson, and I was like, hey, I really want to work with you. I like your company. I'll do this stuff for you for free. And then if you really like it, you can give me a referral and we can do more business in the future. Yada, yada. Just like straightforward. Just tell me what's up. I didn't do like the whole, hey, how are your kids? And did you go on a walk recently? Have you been hitting your exercise goal? Just like laying it straight on him, being more assertive. And he's like, oh yeah, I need help with this. Because when you really think about it, this is what people want, is we just want to be straightforward. We want to do deals. We want to do things that really help us in our own situation. So if you got something you believe can help somebody, just lay it right on and be a little more assertive. I stressed on that point a little bit because it might be the one I picked this morning. Trying to be a little more assertive. Okay, next one is being adaptable. Adaptable. Okay. All right. So for this one, adaptability, we're not always going to speak, whether you're talking to your literal parents, your kids, your best friends, someone who you've never met before in your life. It's not being fake if you're changing up your language a little bit, right? This one's a little bit of a dance, but we need to be a little flexible when you're talking to other new people and they don't have the same mannerisms, they say words differently. I try not to take this stuff to heart. You see this in like PC language, like everyone needs to be a saint and say, not everyone is meaning the literal words that are coming out of their mouth. Everyone's different. And that's part of the flexibility. I'm not saying go around and say a bunch of things you shouldn't be saying. What I'm saying is people in different environments say different things. And when you've become friends with people over long times and you're just seeing this on the outside, I try not to place too much judgment. And I want to be a little more flexible and a little more fun when I'm communicating with other people. I think this makes it easier when I'm working in therapy. The stuff I say to my best friends when I'm going in the city and I'm having beers and stuff is not the same thing I'm saying when I'm sitting in a therapy session. I'm trying to help somebody through something. So that's what I'm saying about being adaptable, being flexible, and being okay with that. as we apply these other principles, I believe it makes it that much easier that's what really makes us adaptable, is when we're honing in and we're combining all these skills together. So be a little more adaptable. Jesus, like somebody says something, it's not the end of the world, and we can just adapt to the environment, listen, and kind of, not everyone, words don't have to piss us off so easy, or at least this is what I'm learning and what I'm trying to apply. I'm not the word police or like the communication police. Everyone's got different views and viewpoints, and that's okay. Awesome. All right. What was after I had for this one? Sorry, this was a long list of notes. All right. Next one up is 7 is feedback. Feedback. A huge part of communication is getting feedback. We talked about rewatching maybe some of the videos that you're making. Say if you're creating social media content, we want to get some feedback. What's working? What's not working? What do I do different next time? The 3-question framework that has really taken me through my life. And shout out to Coach Steve. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He asks me this all the time. What's going well? What's not going well? What do you do different next time? The feedback loop is absolutely crucial, or else we're just going to keep doing the same dumb shit over and over again, and we want to avoid that. So number 7 on our list, getting feedback. You can do this for yourself. If you're recording yourself, communicate, literally talking and speaking like this, or you can get feedback from your clients. You can get feedback from your family. You can get feedback from your friends. You can get feedback from your partner. There's a lot of places to get feedback. Don't let the criticism bother you. It's just an opportunity to grow. For me, they used to be hard to handle, but have gotten really good of like, Tanner, you suck at that. Okay, whatever. How do I get a little bit better? Not letting the words offend me versus just like an opportunity to grow and have a little more fun with it. Life's not that serious. All right, we're on to the next one. So the next one for us will be storytelling. This is a big reason why I think religion is so popular and will continue to be into the future. There's something about stories, a powerful story of something. They also talk about whether the hero's journey. This isn't the structure for a lot of books, a lot of movies, just a lot of adventures, people that just entertainment we enjoy consistently over and over and over again, this hero journey. I think being able to tell stories, and we all have stories and unique experiences that are unique to us. I think when it comes to standing out, so there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of therapists, there's a lot of people who work in sales and marketing like I do. I'm trying to help you get clients. There's a lot of other people trying to help you get clients if in your freelance business. So I think storytelling is something I really try to pull out for myself, because my story, whether it's living out of my car or buying real estate and starting a coach company, working on the chalkboard, doing the morning show, that's unique to me. And I think if you can pull your stories and tell your stories in a more captivating way that really help address the wants and needs of other people and get them excited, it's going to be a lot easier to close and a lot easier to just stand out in general. I think storytelling will continue to reign as just one of the best attention grabbers. And that's all we're competing for here in business, right, folks? Is we're just trying to get each other's attention. Awesome. Maybe you want to improve your storytelling skills on our list. Awesome. Okay. What was my next one? So that was storytelling. 10. We are on to number 10. Wow, we got a long list. We don't even have space for these benefits, folks. We gotta resituate what's going on. All right, I'll just use my hand. So number 10. So this one would be positive language. Positive language, short. Okay, positive language for number 10. And for this one, or that would be number 9. Number 9, we have so many, folks. All right, positive language is number 10 on my list, but we skipped one. Either way. So positive language, the things that we say to ourselves, turns out it matters. It matters. If you say you're not good enough, if you say this situation, the present moment, Nope, it's not what I expected. It's not good enough. I can guarantee you're going to feel anxious. You're going to be fat. You're going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. It's going to be a hell of a lot harder to take action and really change our lives. So I think one of the greatest things about communication is people like to talk to positive people. People want to talk to people who got good energy, who are positive and uplifting, not these sad sacks who are like, oh, geez, on a sunny day, on that sunny day in New York in the summer, they're like, well, the winter's coming. It's like, screw that guy. I don't want to be around that person. So I think if we want more opportunities, if we want to improve our communication skills and achieve our goals and dreams, I believe that using one of this tip, the positive language, see the good in things. It's not against the law to like smile and make a turn. Yet we talked about this week turning lemons into lemonade. I think bringing a little positive language to the table is really refreshing and people really appreciate it. Awesome. So number 10 on our list, rolling right down, we had, that would be, I wanted this one. Feedback, deliberate. Nope. All right, we're only doing 10. Yep, the last one is patience. Awesome. All right, the last one is patience. All right, so patience, this one is really tough. And this is one of, this might make my list for the one I want to really work on myself. But just being a little more patient, this instant, with the world of instant gratification that we live in with social media, with the fast foods, with doing this, if you don't really have to wait very long to get like instant pleasure. And this can be very dangerous, and especially in the communication game. Oh, this person didn't give me what I wanted right here, right now. Boom, trash, garbage, not a good option and not going to work long term. Versus we know that in business, the fortune is in the follow-up and nurturing relationships and continuously communicating with people, checking in with them, seeing how we can help them, seeing what they need. So patience, I believe, is one that I'm really excited about, because what are we in a rush for? To get older? To get more money? Is that really what's going to make us happy? I would disagree. So I think patience is one that can just calm down everybody in the room. Like, let's be a little more patient. Let's let people talk. So when you think of the basis of an argument, maybe we take politics for an example, because that's the most dirty business on the planet, in my opinion. Someone won't even finish talking and they're already jumping at their throat, trying to get at them and hear what they're, oh no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And it's like, you don't even know what they were going to say. And then some people like, oh, I know what they were going to say. They were going to say this and that and yada, yada. It's like, are these good communicators? No, I don't believe so. And that's why I made our list for tips on communication. Let people finish what they're saying. Jeez. So patience, absolute key, something we want to bring to the table. All right. So some of the benefits that I did want to go over on this one. So we can think of these as self-development, goal achievement, healthy relationships, conflict resolution, and career advancement. These were the 5 tips that I thought were the 5 benefits on here. We're running out of space and running out of time. But again, just to go over these, why would you want to do this? 5 benefits real quick would just be, you're going to improve your self-development skills. Really, if you hone in on these, you're going to be better chances to achieve your goals. You're going to have healthier relationships. You're going to have better conflict resolution and career advancement. I like those. So these were the 11 tips. Really, it was 10 tips. I don't know if I miscounted or I'm missing one in my notes, but 10 tips. Either way, the exercise stay the same. So we have this list of 10, and we want to pick 2. We want to pick 2 that we want to work on over the next week. I don't like thinking too long-term on this. I like to take action immediately. So just pick 2 of these that you really want to improve upon. So for example, I want to get better at clarity. I want to get better at just saying the message, being more concise in my messaging, the clarity. And additionally, I want to use storytelling to get that message out. So these are the two that stood out most to me. Is I want to get better at storytelling, and within that storytelling, I want to be more clear and concise on how I can really help people. And how am I going to do this? So now we have number 3. So we have clarity. Clarity. So go ahead and write out the 2 that you want to do. Feel free to pause these videos, rewatch them, come back to them if you want examples and details like we were going through them. Okay, and storytelling. Okay, storytelling and clarity made my list. And how can I apply this over the next week? I'm going to do this through writing. I want to just do it through writing. And in the writing, I'm just going to do like a 1-page note. I'm just going to keep trying to chop at it. Keep good quality writing. To me, it seems it's just this ability to sit the hell down, stare at the screen, and just keep editing and keep retyping. Or at least that's how I've been improving my skills on it. I think everyone's a little bit different, but that's my best advice. All right, folks, I went over a little on time, but I was having too much fun to communicate and try and get better at this. This is something I'm very, very passionate about, and I believe can really take people to the next level so they can achieve their goals, become better selves, solve more problems, and just be happier and healthier. So thanks, friends. Which one of the 10 tips did you really enjoy? There was active listening, body language, clarity and concise messaging, having empathy for other people, being a little more assertive, being more adaptable and flexible when you're talking to different kinds of people, cultures, backgrounds, yada, yada, getting feedback from people, getting feedback for yourself, what's working, what's not working, how do I do it different, storytelling, positive language, just come on, folks, a little more positive here. It's not all doom and gloom. And then lastly, patience, being a little more patient with the process because this stuff does take time. Awesome. All right, folks, you guys have an incredible, incredible day. In case you needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Let's work on our communication because we're social, emotional creatures, and communication can be the make or break for us. So cheers to that. Cheers to personal development. You guys have an awesome weekend. I'm off for the weekend, folks, and I'll see you bright and early. Monday morning, we're doing a Monday morning, I'm going to have a podcast episode with a coach. Her name's Lisa Pepper-Satkin. She just has a really cool approach to kind of breaking down the layers. And she also has this term that I really liked called the inner bully. And I think when we talked about positive language, you get a much deeper dive on a therapist's view on what an inner bully is, what positive self-talk is, and then a simple exercise that we can do throughout the day to kind of help us along the way. But awesome, folks. I got to bounce. I got something in my eye. It's probably a piece of chalk. But you guys have an awesome, awesome Friday, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Love you all. Peace out. I'm out.